I'm on a road in the Bancroft area, and I'm looking for trenches, but I came across this pile, kind of picking around the area that I think the trenches are supposed to be in, but I haven't found the trenches yet. But I noticed this pile. I started picking around it, and I noticed that there are some crystals here. This is a partial Scapolite crystal. And I noticed another one. Where is it? I left it in the pile so I could pick it up. There it is. Here's another partial Scapolite. So I'm going to pick through this pile and see if there's anything good. I think this was just a pile that got pushed off to the side while they were doing work on the road. And it just has a bunch of random material from the road cuts in this one strip section. I see some more Scapolites. Oh, Scapolite fragments, there's one. And I can see that this one over here is at least a partial Scapolite crystal. Most of the time mica in these types of piles is pretty crushed up, but I found one where it looks like the book is basically all there. And this side looks like it grew up against something. So that's not bad. Don't think I'm gonna take this home probably, but it's a cool little mica, complete mica book. Still cool to show you guys. But I'm checking the back end of this pile out. There's a bunch of Scapolite fragments. So far I haven't seen any on the surface that are nice enough. I will probably just dig into this now and see if I can pull out anything half decent. You never know. I have started digging into the pile, and I just spotted a glint. And you can see right here, we've got a pretty gemmy looking Scapolite. That is pretty good. Looks like the back end's a bit roughed up, but I can't complain. This is probably the gemmiest Scapolite I've ever found. So far, the sifting seems to be working. I haven't found any super big gemmy ones so far, but I found some small gemmy ones. In fact, I have what looks to be a partial gemmy Scapolite crystal here. And these are the ones that I've sifted out so far in the last 3 sifts. So I already picked it up, but I just put it back where it rolled down. You can see what I can see. I was digging up material to throw in the sifter, and this bad boy rolled down. Really nice, sharp Scapolite crystal. Wow, that is super nice. Hope the back end's not too funky. It looks like the back end's a little bit funky, but I like this front end, so it's coming home with me. That's way too nice of a sharp faces and semi-gemminess or luster, high luster for me to throw away. And actually, I spotted another one as I was showing you that other gemmy one that I just pulled out. I can see right here, I can see the shape of Scapolite crystal. It's a small one, but that's definitely a crystal. But I'm hoping for some bigger ones, but the sifting works really nice because the Scapolites are, when they're gemmy, the dirt kind of doesn't cling to them as well as everything else, so you can kind of spot that. And then also you just look for the general crystal structure, and that stands out also from a bunch of broken rocks. Like look here, you can see that gemminess poking through. That's a fragment of Scapolite. Another fragment of Scapolite. But hopefully, if we sift enough of this material, there might be a big whole gemmy one. That would be really cool. Still the same sift. Started sifting this back material, and as you can see, I've got a nice Scapolite point that I just rolled out. Looks like it's fully terminated, and looks like the sides are nice and complete. Nice. That's a nice one. See if we got any more since we're here. I just will flip through all of this. Got a couple more here. One here. I can already tell it's got some damage on the sides. And I've got a crystal here. Might be Scapolite, or it might be there seems to be, actually here's an example of it. There seems to be this green mineral with like a flat termination. So maybe like a pyroxene or an amphibole. But that's a good start to this one. Oh, this might be something, or it just might be mica. Yeah, that was just mica. But we'll keep going through this sift and see if we find anything else interesting to show you guys. We have another decent sized Scapolite that fell out. I think this one's going to be super lustrous. Some of these have like this burnt mineralization on it. I forget what it is. I've been told what it is before. I'll go ask the people who told me about this stuff what it is exactly, but there's some type of black kind of burnt looking mineralization that can occur with Scapolites, and I've seen it in multiple locations now. Here's an interesting small one I just pulled out. It looks like it's two kind of twinned crystals fused together. That's a decent sized one. Looks pretty good. And then I noticed up here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a little termination. So if we can keep finding ones like this size that aren't damaged and nice and gemmy, that would be nice. I have 3 Scapolites that I can see. 2 are actually within view right now. I got one here. It's got some good gemminess to it, luster. That looks pretty good. Got this one. It looks like it might have some semi-decent luster. Ooh, but the back is blown out, which is unfortunate. And then, where was it? Ah, yes. Over here. This one also has some good luster. Looks like it has the full termination. Sweet. So it's not a Scapolite, but here's another half decent mica book. Looks like all the crystal edges are there. This side might be a little wonky, but that's actually not bad. This was not something I was expecting to pull out. Here's a little tiny apatite section that I just pulled out of the sifter. That's kind of interesting. So, I cleared out a decent amount, as you can see. And I have come away with a couple goodies. Some sharp Scapolites, some larger ones, some with some good luster to them. So I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to go and try and actually find the trenches that are supposed to be somewhere around here. So that will be it for this location. Pretty happy with what I found. And now it's time for the cleanup. So let's look at some of the finds cleaned up. A lot of the Scapolite didn't turn out that well, but there are a couple good ones, a couple nice gemmy terminated pieces, or more gemmy or terminated pieces compared to what I found before in Ontario. For those interested in a bit of information on Scapolite, I will in the description below link a video to a Scapolite collecting trip I'd done earlier this year, where I explain what Scapolite is for those who are interested. To start with the star of the show, these Scapolite points some of them turned out to be quite gemmy. Fortunately, Scapolite is pretty fragile, and a lot of it had weathered away in that pile, just exposed to the elements, obviously. But some of these are like you hold them up to the light and the light shines through them half decently, which is not what I usually expect from Scapolites in Ontario, at least the ones that I have collected. There's only one other spot where I've collected Scapolites with this same level of gemminess. I'll throw a link in the description below to that video too. That trip happened more recently. It was a private property of a friend's. We were collecting alongside a river, and there was a vein of Scapolites that one of my friends discovered, and I dug a little further and found a couple chunkier pocket sections, or pockety sections of Scapolite and calcite. This one's nice because the termination is nice and sharp. The crystal faces on the sides are nice and sharp, and it's quite gemmy and partially transparent, though it has a lot of fractures, and that's just due to the scapolite being quite fragile. And this material, I suspect, came from a nearby road cut blast where they just dug out the ditch of the road cut after the fact, and then for whatever reason, they didn't truck off the material like they usually do, and they just tossed it to the side for whatever reason. There were a couple half decent larger pieces. This one, however, the back is all weathered and broken up, but you can see some of the faces are still nice, and it's got good color and some half decent gemminess to it, which is quite nice. For those who are interested, yes, they do in fact react to UV light under shortwave light. I'm sure right now I'm showing a short video of them glowing under UV light. This one especially reacted quite well. This is probably my most intact, largest, sharpest Scapolite crystal. You can see here where it fit with another crystal on the back. And then on the back you can see where it was attached to probably the pyroxene matrix. And then there's just a bit of damage here. But overall, this is quite complete. It does have a bit of a black mineralization to it. I've been told at another location where scapolites were collected, I think the black might be like an allanite coating, but I could be wrong. I'll double check with the person who told me that, if that is the case. And I'll let you guys know if I do get that information. But this one didn't glow as well, and I think it has to do with the slight coating. And you can kind of see there's like the cut. There's a slight it's a bit thicker here, but overall it has like this very light, thin brown coating of mineralization. This is a scapolite fragment. You can see the broken bits through, but this is a good example of that coating when it's more thicker. You can see it's just a black, thin kind of slightly shiny coating. Actually, if you look here where it's been scratched a bit, it seems to have a little bit of like luster to it. So, and that might be allanite. Along with the scapolite, I found some other minerals, including a bunch of biotite, I believe it's biotite mica books, along with some pyroxenes, those kind of dark green ones. Mica, for those who don't know, is a mineral that actually grows in layers, and in fact, if you are deft enough, you can peel those layers off. This is just only a fragment, but basically the way the mica crystals grow, they grow in these sheets, and then those sheets are loosely connected to each other, but the bonds can easily be broken, and so you can actually peel those sheets off pretty well. Ontario has been known to produce some pretty crazy sized mica books. In fact, actually at some of the old mines in the past, the mica was a mining byproduct, so they take the mica, split it down until it was thin enough, because once you split it down, some of these can be quite see-through, and they actually use those big mica books as window panes. I'll see if I can try and find a picture. I think I've seen a picture of it before, but that's kind of an interesting little fact about mica. Most of the pyroxene is just kind of this chunky stuff with some smaller crystals, and then you get some scapolite in the mix. Doesn't look super fancy. Same with this guy, it's just kind of a chunky vein of pyroxene with some crystal pockets. But every once in a while you'll find like individual crystals. This one, I believe it has a fractured bottom, but the top, the termination is a bit wonky, but the termination is there. This one is just overall pretty nice. It's got a nice sharp termination, and then on the bottom you can see where it was attached to some scapolite crystals. There's still even a bit of scapolite attached to the bottom. This is a nice sharp pyroxene crystal. Overall, I would say I was quite happy with this accidental discovery. I hope to maybe next year go back there again and just sift through the rest of the pile. I only really did like a third of the pile before I had to move on to my next location. But I really enjoyed it, and it was a cool little accidental find. And hopefully next time I go back, the pile's still there. Maybe it was waiting to get removed and I was just there at the right place at the right time. But if it's still there, hopefully I can find some cool stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please also in the comments below let me know which of these 3 minerals you found the most interesting, the mica, the scapolite, or the pyroxene. And please folks, just have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.